Well, my friends, it's rum o'clock, and it's rumored that people are actually watching my videos. So I wore a tie and a vest and a white shirt for you. Didn't shave though. Gonna need a few more people to watch for that. Anyways, we are talking about the Buffalo Sabres, and I really like what they're doing in Buffalo. Before I started this video, I went and tried to remember the general manager's name, and it has completely left me. So hopefully, while I'm talking, it'll come back to me again. I do remember Bilesma though, and he did a heck of a job choosing him as a coach. At the time, there was a lot of he had taken a lot of flack for what had happened in Pittsburgh, and I don't know why. He did a heck of a job with that team. I don't think he deserved to get fired. They did a good job with their replacement. I don't know what the ins and outs are of firing coaches. A lot of times I think they hire coaches to set up for another coach and stuff like that. I can see that. And that's why Tortorella is seems to be one of those coaches that you bring him in to get to build character in your team, and then 2 3 years down the road he wears on his players, so you bring in another X's and O's guys to add to that. But Bilesma is not one of those guys really. He's a player's coach. He's really uh, solid in all aspects of the game, and his knowledge of the game and dealing with players. His players that he played for in Pittsburgh talked extremely highly of him. And I think that he did a really good job of hiring him, even though his name has escaped me once again. But a couple other things that they have done. I mean, the Kane trade. We'll go back that far. What I like about what they're doing there is they are going after a certain prototype of player, and if that player is out there, they are willing to risk a lot to get them. O'Reilly, big, solid, strong, fast skating, all around player. And the fact that Colorado wasn't willing to pay them $6 million a year or whatever he was, a seven, was ridiculous. You pay that guy, and he didn't really give all that much up for him in after the fact. But even when it happened, I was like, geez, you might be getting away with murder there, and it kind of did. Zadorov might turn into a top two. Then there's a prospect that he threw in there, and Galchenyuk. What was that Russian guy's name? See, if I don't remember what his name is, it probably wasn't a good part of the trade. Somebody that you should be taking back for O'Reilly. That was an excellent trade. It went after Kane, even though Kane had some problems, and it's still happening now. Hopefully, Kane gets over those whatever those issues are, but he took a risk and he gave up a pretty good defenseman in Myers and some pretty good prospects to grab him. But I like the fact that he's willing to do what he has a prototype of what he wants, and he's willing to go get it. He's not shy about it. Lanner is another one. He gave up a middle first round draft pick in 2015 for him, and a lot of people were shocked that he did that, because those were huge draft picks in 2015. That was like one of the deepest drafts ever. And when I heard it, I thought, geez, that's steep. But Lehner is that type of goaltender that you can build a team around. He's had some injury problems. I'm really surprised Ottawa let him go instead and kept Hammond instead. Um, I don't think I would have wanted to do that. That first round, that middle first round draft pick though was quite the carrot to do so, and they had three goaltenders. So I guess he decided to stick with Anderson and hope that Hammond turned out. But I think they're gonna kind of kick themselves for that. So yeah, he's just gone out and done things he's willing to, he has got balls is what he is. He's willing to take risks, and he's very confident in what he does. Um, he's built a pretty solid defense, except they are not a very good puck moving defense, and that's really what their issue is right now. They've drafted well. They've brought into some really solid players to on their forward core, and they are doing well that way. They even like Gergensons and stuff like that. It's a type of player that he's looking for, and they're all around, hardworking, strong, good skating, and he's doing a really good job of keeping to that. But the defense is where they got to work on now, and the defense is probably what's going to keep him out of the playoffs this year. You've got too many defensemen there that are defensive minded and not able to move the puck up quick enough. I think Franzen might be their best puck moving defenseman that they have. The Russian kid. It's Ristolainen is a good puck moving defenseman, but he's still got to work on his possession game. His possession game is not good right now. Bogosian is not a huge possession player. But this is where I think analytics doesn't really pan out in a lot of ways. However, if you go really deep into it, I'm sure that there is analytics to show this, but I haven't seen it yet. You have guys like Bogosian and Russell, and I'm trying to think of a few other ones that, if they come to me, that don't show well on the possession scale, but they play a game in their own end that is so good it almost makes up for it. Bogosian to a lesser extent. Tomorrow I'll be getting into Calgary. I'm going to talk about Russell more. I will talk about Russell more, but when I get to Edmonton, I'll talk about him even more. Because my initial thing with those players, and I follow analytics, I listen to it, was that what are you doing giving those guys that kind of money? But I've actually, now that I've really watched Russell and I've taken a look at some of these guys that don't have good analytics numbers, there is a place for guys that just know how to play really well in their own end. It's not like they're way down, they're about 47% or somewhere around there in the possession numbers, which is on the weak side, but they play so well in their own end, it kind of makes up for it. And that's what Buffalo really has. However, you can't have too many of those guys, and they do right now. But it's a young team, they're building, and I'm sure that they're going to start looking at players that are more possession orientated. I hope so. But until then, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. But you got Eichel, you've got Nylander coming up, you've got great draft. They're doing some excellent jobs drafting, and I just like the balls of that team. They're willing to put it out there and take a risk to get what they want. Anyways, it's rum o'clock, as I told you, so it's time for me to leave because I have given you the full 42% today, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to you later. Have a great day.